the plant-like. So today we're going to go ahead with the fungi-like protist, or as we say, it's called as consumer decomposer protist. So this is the consumer decomposer protist, also called as the slime molds. So yesterday we saw all the characteristics of Monera, and as I said yesterday that Monera पे ही सबसे ज़्यादा questions आज तक एग्जाम में आए हैं. मतलब it has been observed that in this entire chapter fungi and Monera are the ones जिसके ऊपर कभी-कभी like 7 to 8, even sometimes 10 questions have been asked on Monera and fungi. So Monera was one of the most important subtopic that we have studied under this particular chapter. And now we go ahead with slime molds, which is ऐसा नहीं कि इसके ऊपर question नहीं आया है, but it's a very small part of Protistian, the class Protista. So let us understand what is this. So slime molds are saprophytic protists. As the name says, saprophytic means the ones which are going to be surviving or dead and decaying matter, है ना? जो dead and decaying matter पे survive करते हैं, उनको हम क्या कहते हैं? Saprophytes. The body moves along the decaying twigs and leaves, engulfing organic matter. So here they had made a change. ये question आया था. Select the incorrect among the following. And what was the thing that they had, changed over here was the body moves along the decaying twigs and leaves, engulfing inorganic matter. So organic को उन्होंने inorganic कर दिया था, and this sentence was changed. But it should be organic matter. Slime molds are of two types: acellular slime molds and cellular slime molds. We are going to talk about the acellular slime molds, also called as plasmodial slime molds. Their somatic bodies are free living, multinucleate, and diploid. Somatic bodies means they are vegetative forms, they are parental forms, they are parental cells. How are they? They are free living, they are multinucleate, so they have got many nuclei. So a single cell having many nuclei, okay, and it's a diploid type of an organism. So each nucleus will have two sets of chromosomes. So first sentence समझ में आया बेटा? So the somatic body means the parental bodies are going to be free living. They are not dependent on someone. They are not going to be parasites or something like that. They are free living, multinucleate, having many nuclei, diploid. Each nucleus is going to have two sets of chromosomes, right? Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called as plasmodium, which may grow and spread over several feet. Now, let me tell you all, this plasmodium is nothing to do with our malaria. Malaria का plasmodium अलग है. इसका नाम भी उन्होंने plasmodium ही रखा है. So what is this plasmodium? Not the one who is causing malaria. Rather, this plasmodium is an aggregation of these unicellular organisms. तो ये सारे single cells है ना, वो सारे इकट्ठा आके they form aggregates, and this aggregated structure is called as plasmodium. So please, my dears, do not make a blunder. Do not misunderstand this plasmodium to be the one who is causing malaria. ये वाला plasmodium नहीं है, ठीक है? During unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. Now, what do you mean by this particular sentence? During unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates, means whenever the condition is unfavorable, the diploid multinucleate cells would undergo meiosis and they would form haploid spores. And these haploid spores will be found at the tip of their aggregated structures. So this tip of the aggregated spores is going to be called as fruiting bodies. Okay, what do we call it as? Fruiting bodies, right? So this is how the acellular slime molds appear to be. The spores are formed by meiosis. The spores germinate. Whenever the conditions will become favorable, the spores will be dispersed, and these spores will then germinate to produce gametes. Now the gametes will fuse to again form the parental cells or the vegetative bodies. Okay, the spore possesses true walls. This is the most important point of slime molds, that during the spore formation, the spore wall is made up of cellulose. Otherwise, in their entire life forms, there is no cellulose. But during the spore formation, yes, they are going to be having true cellulosic cell walls. Okay? They are extremely resistant and survive for many years, even under adverse conditions. So they can sustain and survive for many years because of this aggregations. And the spores are resistant. The spores are dispersed by air current. This is how the slime mold looks like. You can see this. Many nuclei are present. It's a unicellular organism. So this blue colored dots are going to be the nucleus, and each nucleus is going to have two sets of chromosomes. Okay. That's all with your consumer decomposer protist. Lastly, we come to animal-like protist, also called as protozoan. We already are aware of these protozoans. See, all protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals, because if you remember Ernst Haeckel, yesterday I told you, Ernst Haeckel had formed this third kingdom that was Protista, in which he had picked up all the unicellular organisms from plants also, from animals also, from fungi also. So these are animals से pick किए गए unicellular organisms. So of course they are going to be relatives of animals, right? There are four main groups of protozoans: amoeboid protozoan, ciliated protozoan. Then we have got the one more which uh, you have heard about this, of course. Have you all heard about trypanosoma? The one which is going to be flagellated protozoan. And the fourth one is going to be your sporozoan. That is going to be your malaria causing plasmodium. I'll talk about all of this. First is amoeboid protist. As the name says, you can see on the screen the picture of amoeba. So, of course, amoeba is going to be belonging to this animal-like protist. The reason for it to be animal-like protist, it does not have a cell wall, right? So the organism lives in fresh water, seawater, moist soil. They move and capture their prey by putting out the pseudopodia. So the false legs, as you can see, right? You can see these. All these projections are pseudopodia. So what do? They if they see any food particle over here, then these two pseudopodia will come closer and they will join together to engulf that particular uh, food particle inside. Correct? So that's called as your false feet, which are going to help in this particular process, as seen in amoeba. Marine forms have got silica shells deposited on their cell membrane, their surface. Most of them, such as Entamoeba histolytica, are parasitic. Now, my dears, here you have to be very careful, because in yesterday's class we have seen that the silica shells are present on the diatoms, but that is going to be the cell wall of the diatoms. I told you about the Kieselguhr yesterday, so you know what is diatomaceous earth. So the silica was present on the cell wall of the diatoms. But here, in case of animal-like protist, there is no question of cell wall. So where would this silica be? So this silica would be on the cell membrane surface of the animal. And the example is Entamoeba histolytica. Generally, it causes dysentery. Entamoeba histolytica is responsible for dysentery. Okay. There's a disturbing window which is popping up. So I just need to. The second one, as I said, is going to be the flagellated protist. The members of this group are either free living or parasitic. They have a flagella, therefore it's going to be called as flagellated protist. The parasitic forms cause diseases such as sleeping sickness. Example is trypanosoma. So you might have heard about this. There is a fly called as the tsetse fly, TSC fly. which is the carrier of this particular trypanosoma. And this trypanosoma, if it gets entry into our body, then we will be suffering from something called as sleeping sickness. So sleeping sickness isn't to sleep. Sleeping sickness is something like you're almost paralyzed, that you cannot get up and show your, your motor actions are going to be, stressed. So that is called as the sleeping sickness. But अच्छी बात ये है कि sleeping sickness isn't relevant in India, it's in Africa. Okay. So flagellated protist, you can see this is the flagella and this is the free flagellar tail that you can see over here. The attached flagellum. So this is the trypanosoma. Okay. Then we have got ciliated protists. These are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia on their body. They have a cavity called as gullet, which opens to the outside of the cell surface. So here you can see very clearly, this is actually a paramecium. There are so many cilia everywhere. Everywhere you can see the cilia present on their body. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water laden with food to be steered into the gullet. So what happens is, when the cilia will move backwards, okay, it will push all the water along with the food backwards. The food will be present in the water body itself. So the water will move behind, and along with the water, what will happen? When the food will move behind. And then as we row the boats, what happens? The water goes back and then it comes forward, like this way, again towards your ship. So in the same way, when the cilia move backwards, the water laden with food will be steered backwards and it will come forward and help it to enter into the gullet. In this way, they are capable of feeding themselves because of the movement of the cilia. So they are called as ciliated protozoans. Okay, here you can see the food is being steered inside. Okay, so this is ciliated protozoan. So amoeboid protozoan, flagellated protozoan, ciliated protozoan. Last is sporozoan, the one who is responsible for causing malaria. This includes diverse organisms that have infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. The most notorious is Plasmodium, which is a malarial parasite which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. Yes, so this is going to be the Plasmodium. Just look at it. It's, of course, it's a microscopic organism. This is a magnified image of this Plasmodium. Okay, so this Plasmodium is malarial causing, but consumer like protists जो थे उनका जो वो Plasmodium था, it was aggregation of cells. ठीक है? So as I said, Protista is very chotu and it will be completed very soon. So yesterday we completed with Monera and we had started with Protista. Today we have completed with Protista also. Before I move ahead with fungi, any difficulty with protist, beta? Plant like protist, fungi like protist, animal like protist. किसी को कोई doubt है? Wait. Then I go to the third one. The fourth is Plantae and Animalia. So kingdom Plantae is altogether a different chapter, and kingdom Animalia is also altogether a different chapter. So out of the 5 kingdoms that we have to study, Monera, Protista, and fungi belong to this particular chapter, and kingdom Plantae is the new chapter, and kingdom Animalia is also a new chapter. So we don't have to include Plantae and Animalia too much into this particular chapter. Okay, so let's talk about the kingdom fungi. The fungi constitutes a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. Now, let me tell you again, kingdom fungi के ऊपर भर के questions आते हैं बेटा ये एग्जाम में, और kingdom fungi है ना आपके एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से और आपको कंफ्यूज कराने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. ठीक है, तो सिंपल है ये, बिल्कुल कंफ्यूजन है नहीं, इट्स नॉट डिफिकल्ट, बस इसका बेसिक जो है ना वो समझ के ले लेना, because if you fumble with the basics then it will be a problem for you all to cope up with kingdom fungi throughout the 2 years. ये आपकी 2 साल की जर्नी में अगर आपका कोई जान लेने वाला है ना, तो वो किंगडम फंगाई हो सकता है, अगर आपने ध्यान नहीं दिया जो मैं बता रही हूँ उसके तरफ, तो इट्स एक्चुअली वेरी इजी. So let us see kingdom fungi. They constitute a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms, means they are never ever going to have the capacity to make their own food. Okay, they show a great diversity in morphology and habitat. तो उनके स्ट्रक्चर्स भी बहुत वैरी करते हैं एंड अलग अलग हैबिटेट में वो हमें मिलते रहते हैं फंगस. We see fungi on a moist bread, rotten fruits. You might have seen that cottony threads coming out of these foodstuffs. The common mushroom we eat and toadstools are also fungi. Toadstools cannot be eaten. Toadstools जो होते हैं ना वो पॉइजनस होते हैं, तो उनको नहीं खा सकते हैं, बट मशरूम्स तो हम खाते ही है. White spots seen on the mustard leaves are due to parasitic fungi. So I don't know if you have been to any, area where mustard is being grown, but many a times the mustard leaves will have white spots on them. So whenever there are going to be white spots, we can easily say that it is going to be a fungal infection of the mustard. Some unicellular fungi like yeast are used to make bread and beer. So I'm very sure like during this pandemic season, you might have made bread at home, and that time you have to add yeast, and that yeast is nothing but it's a fungus. Other fungi cause diseases in plants and animals. Wheat rust is going to be caused by a fungus called as Puccinia. Puccinia, what we call it as Puccinia. तो ये जो पक्सीनिया और वीट रस्ट है ना बेटा, ये कम से कम बताऊं तो 17-18 बार आ चुका है लास्ट 20 years में. So never ever forget this word. Puccinia causes wheat rust. Okay. Some are the sources of antibiotics like penicillin. Penicillium जो है वो अपना फंगस है जो पेनिसिलिन देता है, बनाता है. So some fungi are good. Some fungi are required for certain processes. Some are disease causing, right? Some we can eat also. In some we use their byproducts. So fungus is a very diversified organism and is exploited commercially, especially for antibiotics. Okay. Fungi are cosmopolitan and occur in air, water, soil, animal, plant, सब जगह पर है. Cosmopolitan मतलब एक specific जगह पर नहीं, found everywhere. ठीक है. They prefer to grow in warm and humid places. Yes, this is their specialty, that they like to grow in warm and humid. तो इसीलिए अभी का जो season है देखो, it is warm also and it is humid also. So during this time ना dandruff का problem हो सकता है. I told you that dandruff is a fungus. So many a times, you may have the problem with the dandruff. You may have acne and pimples on your skin during this particular time. It's a fungal infection. So they prefer to grow lavishly during this particular season. You have heard about mucormycosis that was, making havoc just a few months before in the COVID cured patients. Yes. So that was also a fungal infection. And conditions कैसे थे वहां पर? Humid थे and warm थे. So fungus will spread very lavishly. So even during this particular time, if you keep your roti for a couple of days, or if you keep the bread for more than 4-5 days, immediately you will see the fungal growth coming up, right? To prevent this, what do? See, we keep food in the refrigerator to prevent food from going bad due to bacterial infection or due to fungal infection. Fine. Now these three are fungi. This particular figure is of mucor. This is going to be aspergillus, and this is going to be your agaricus, that's going to be your mushroom. So these three photographs are given in your NCERT textbook, and they ask you to identify them. So kindly do not neglect the names and their figures given in your books. So this is mucor. Mucor is your bread mold. ब्रेड के ऊपर जो फंगस आता है ना, माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे ऐसे दिखता है. This is aspergillus. This is aspergillus. See, right? Aspergillus is going to be, like greenish or blackish color के dots दिखते हैं. And this is of course the mushroom that we eat. Okay. Under the microscope, how does this fungi look like? See, with the exception of yeast, which are unicellular, all fungi are filamentous. So only and only yeast is going to be unicellular organism in fungus. Otherwise, all fungi are going to be long, filamentous, multicellular. As the photograph you can see very clearly, their bodies consist of long, slender, thread-like structures called as hyphae. So here, if you can see very clearly, they have shown over here hyphae. So ये जो सारे जो branches है ना, ये सारे hyphae है बेटा. All of these, see, these all are hyphae. If you look at the two hyphae that have been, put forward on your screen, you can see this is one single unit. While here you can see बहुत सारे units एक साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. देखो बीच बीच में ऐसे कंपार्टमेंट्स है, बीच बीच में ऐसे रिंग लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं, है ना. तो जिसकी वजह से वो सेप्टा दिखता है. सेप्टा मतलब कंपार्टमेंट्स दिखते हैं. So see, the network of hyphae is known as mycelium. Some hyphae are continuous tubes. See, continuous tubes filled with multi-nucleated cytoplasm. So there are so many nuclei in this entire tube-like structure. Okay, and these will be called as cenocytic hyphae. It is not choanocytic, it is cenocytic hyphae. Okay, तो ये वाले हाइफे को हम क्या कहते हैं? सीनोसाइटिक, जिसमें कंपार्टमेंट्स नहीं है, जिसमें सेप्टा नहीं है, जिसमें क्रॉस वॉल्स नहीं है, एक ही ट्यूब में बहुत सारे न्यूक्लियाई एंड साइटोप्लाज्म इकट्ठा पड़ा है, ऐसे वाले हाइफे को हम कहते हैं सीनोसाइटिक. प्लीज डू नॉट फॉरगेट दिस वर्ड. For the next 2 years, several times this word cenocytic will be coming across. Others have got septa or cross walls in their hyphae. So ये देखो, here you can see these particular ones, rings के जैसे, इसको हम कहते हैं septa या फिर cross walls. Okay, the cell wall of fungi is composed of chitin and polysaccharide. So sugars है और chitin है, ये दोनों मिलकर fungi की cell wall बनती है. तो जिनमें सेप्टा प्रेजेंट है उसको हम कहते हैं सेप्टेट हाइफे, और जिसमें सेप्टा एब्सेंट है उसको हम कहते हैं सीनोसाइटिक हाइफे. सो हाउ एग्जैक्टली डज द फंगाई लुक लाइक अंडर द माइक्रोस्कोप इज व्हाट आई एम शोइंग यू राइट नाउ. ओके, हैलस का मतलब होता है बॉडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. हाउ इज द बॉडी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ फंगस? एंड यहाँ पर इट्स कॉल्ड एज हैलस बिकॉज इट डज नॉट हैव अ वेल डिफाइंड shape structure to be named as, उसको हम ऐसा कोई specific नाम नहीं दे सकते. तो undifferentiated mass of cell है, तो उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Hallus. Right? Nutrition. How do they derive their nutrition? Fungi lack chlorophyll and are unable to synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Therefore, they obtain their nutrition from external sources by the process of extracellular digestion. Extracellular means what will they do? They are fungal hyphae जो अभी आपसे देखे हैं, उनमें से बाहर है ना एंजाइम्स निकल आएंगे. तो वो एंजाइम सिक्रीट करेंगे, लेकिन ये एंजाइम्स है ना उनके बॉडी के बाहर आएगा. ठीक है, और उनके बॉडी के बाहर जब ये एंजाइम्स आएंगे ना, तो उस एरिया में जिधर ये ग्रो हो रहे, सपोज फॉर एग्जाम्पल बता रही हूँ मैं, अगर ये ब्रेड के ऊपर ग्रो हो रहे, हाँ, वेयर आर दे ग्रोइंग? दे आर ग्रोइंग ऑन द ब्रेड. ओके, bread is made up of what, beta? Bread is going to have sugars, polysaccharides, right? So what will they prepare? They'll make enzymes that will break down the polysaccharides. They'll make the enzyme which will break down the sugars. तो शुगर ब्रेक डाउन हो रहा है, पॉलीसैकेराइड्स ब्रेक डाउन हो रहे हैं, लेकिन कहाँ हो रहे हैं? बॉडी के अंदर या बॉडी के बाहर? So it's going to be outside the body. Therefore, the digestion is called as extra cellular digestion. Okay, extra means बाहर, सेल के बाहर एंजाइम्स एलोबरेट हो रही है, सेल के बाहर एंजाइम्स निकल आ रही है, और जिधर ये ग्रो हो रहा है, जिस सबस्ट्रेट पे ये ग्रो हो रहा है, उसका ब्रेकडाउन चालू हो रहा है. अब वो जो भी ब्रेकडाउन हुआ, ग्लूकोज बना, हाँ, फिर सारे एसिड्स बने, जो भी कुछ बना, नाउ इट नीड्स टू बी एब्सॉर्ब बाय द फंगस. Okay, so what is the next thing? See, extracellular digestion and then absorption of the digested material. So they will digest the food outside their body and they will then absorb the digested food. Understood? Very clearly, what is the meaning of this extracellular digestion and absorption, beta? ये बहुत important point है. तो डाइजेशन उनके बॉडी के अंदर नहीं होता है, बॉडी के बाहर डाइजेशन होता है, और जो डाइजेस्टेड फूड है उनके बॉडी के बाहर, उसको फिर अंदर एब्जॉर्ब किया जाता है. ओके, such mode of nutrition is called as heterotrophic and absorptive type of nutrition, and the organisms are called as heterotrophs. Okay, we are called as holozoic because अपना internal digestion है. We are also heterotrophs. We are also dependent on the external food. We cannot make our own food, but we are heterotrophic and holozoic. They are heterotrophic and saprophytes. Okay? According to the mode of nutrition, fungi are of two types. They can either be parasites or they can be saprophytes. Parasites, they obtain the food from the living host. So the dandruff on our scalp is a parasitic fungi. Okay. Saprophytes, they derive their food from dead and decaying organic matter. So wherever there is bread, roti, कुछ भी organic matter बाहर भी अगर कुछ पड़ा हुआ है तो उसके ऊपर immediately जो fungi grow होती है ना बेटा, those are saprophytes, right? Some fungi are symbiotically associated with algae to form lichens. Symbiotically associated. What do you mean by the word symbiotic? Symbiotic का मतलब होता है both the partners will be benefited. So it's forming an alliance with algae. So algae will be benefited by fungi, and fungi will be benefited by algae. So such type of combination is what we call a symbiotic mutualistic type of relation. So what happens in this दोनों का composition जो lichens है उनमें क्या होता है? What will happen in lichens? So fungi cannot make their own food, correct? Right? And fungi का speciality क्या है? Absorption. So the fungi will absorb all the raw material, all the nourishment, or whatever is required by the algae. Okay? And algae is going to provide, algae are green in color. So they will provide food for the fungi. So both will be benefited. Okay, na? आगे आएगा of course. That particular structure is called as a lichen, huh? L-I-C-H-E-N. End में है lichens भी. A few forms has symbiotic association with roots of higher plants, which is called as mycorrhiza. So there are certain, gymnosperms especially, which will have this fungal hyphae completely wound around the roots of this pine tree. आपने pine tree का नाम सुना है? Pinus. तो पाइनस ट्री जो जिम्नोस्पर्म है ना, उसके रूट के ऊपर है ना पूरा फंगल थ्रेड वाइंड होता है, पूरा मतलब उसका रूट पूरा फंगस से भरा हुआ है. अब फंगस क्या करेगा? फंगस सारा का सारा सॉल्ट है, जैसे कि फॉस्फोरस है या फिर कैल्शियम है या जो भी कुछ है, उसको एब्जॉर्ब करेगा और प्लांट के रूट तक पहुंचाने का काम करेगा. अब प्लांट को रेडीमेड ये सारे न्यूट्रिएंट्स मिल गए. विदाउट सर्चिंग प्लांट को फंगाई ने सारा लाके रेडीमेड दे दिया, तो प्लांट खुश हो गया. तो प्लांट ने क्या किया? प्लांट ने उस फंगाई को फूड भी दिया और शेल्टर भी दिया. उसके अंदर, प्लांट के अंदर आने को और उसके सेल्स के अंदर उसको सेटल होने के लिए जगह प्रोवाइड कर दी. So again, this is a symbiotic relation where the plant is benefiting by getting ready-made phosphorus, calcium ions and all, because the fungi is absorbing and bringing it and delivering to the plant. And even the fungi is benefited, even fungi loves to do this job for this particular plant because it is giving nourishment and shelter. Fine. So lichens and mycorrhiza are very two important points of fungi. Reproduction. Reproduction can be vegetative, asexual or sexual. First, we talk about the vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction occurs by the following methods. First, fragmentation. छोटे-छोटे fragments में बट जाना. So the mycelium may break accidentally or due to decay into two or more parts. Each segment develops into a complete mycelium. तो ये देखो बेटा, ऐसे छोटे-छोटे टुकड़े हो जाते हैं और ये जो छोटे-छोटे टुकड़े हैं ना, वो हर एक जो टुकड़ा है, हर एक पीस है ना, वो फिर लंबा 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 होके नया माइसीलियम बनाता है. राइट. सेकंड इज बाय फिशन. Fission, it occurs in unicellular organisms like yeast, where cell division produces two daughter cells. So here you can see budding है, fission है. तो ये देखो, ये fission है, ये dividing cell है, दो parts में divide हो गई. Okay, this is budding as seen in yeast. The protrusion grows out into a bud, and the bud constricts at the base and separates into two new individuals. So ये देखो, ये protrusion है. Protrusion मतलब outgrowth. तो ये parent mother cell है और ये mother cell के ऊपर ऐसे buds निकल आते हैं. ये देखो, ये buds निकल आते हैं और फिर ये buds separate हो जाते हैं mother body से और फिर नया खुद एक parent mother cell के जैसे grow होने लगते हैं. This is the way the budding will take place. So fragmentation, fission and budding, ये तीनों methods of vegetative reproduction of fungi are very well known to us. Right? The next two is Chlamydium spores and Oidea. ये आपने कभी सुना नहीं है, उसके बारे में बताती हूँ. बट इसमें कोई डिफिकल्टी है? अब वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शन में ही आता है Chlamydospores and Oidea. So this is Chlamydospores and Oidea. What are these? They are thick-walled Chlamydospores. ये है, you can see here Chlamydospore. They are thick-walled, black. You can see the color very well. Multinucleate resting spores formed by the collection of protoplasm at one or many places from the adjacent places during unfavorable conditions. So now the conditions are not favorable. Okay. So क्या हो रहा है? ये सेल का पूरा कंटेंट ये सेल में चला गया, ये सेल का पूरा कंटेंट इस सेल में चला गया, इसका पूरा कंटेंट इधर चला गया, इसके बीच में कुछ दो चार सेल्स थे वो मर्ज होके इन दोनों में चले गए. तो क्या हो रहा है बेटा? कंडीशंस फेवरेबल नहीं है ना, तो एग्रीगेट्स बनते हैं. एडजेसेंट सेल का सारा प्रोटोप्लाज्म अलोंग विद द न्यूक्लियाई उसके बाजू के सेल के अंदर घुस जाता है. ओके, and they become thick-walled. This is happening only during unfavorable conditions. So during unfavorable conditions, the thick-walled cells formed are going to be called as Chlamydospores. अब ये जो Chlamydospores है, इसमें ना माइटोसिस हो रहा है, ना मियोसिस हो रहा है. क्या हो रहा है? सिर्फ pushing of the protoplasm, सिर्फ pushing of the protoplasm inside the adjacent cells हो रहा है. Okay, therefore this is called as vegetative type of reproduction. अगर इसमें माइटोसिस होता था ना, तो it would have been asexual. अगर इसमें मियोसिस होता था, तो it would have been sexual. पर इसमें ना माइटोसिस हो रहा है ना मियोसिस हो रहा है, सिर्फ क्या हो रहा है? प्रोटोप्लाज्म का पुशिंग हो रहा है ना, स्क्वीजिंग हो रहा है into the adjacent cells. So this is going to be called as your Chlamydospores. Oidea, on the other hand, are going to be thin-walled, reduced in chains. They are formed by the segmentation of the hypha in the presence of excess water, sugar, and salt. So that is the favorable condition. The fungi, they like to grow in humid climate. They like to grow in warm climate. Sugar जिधर ज़्यादा है, salt जिधर ज़्यादा है, उधर ये ग्रो करने में उनको अच्छा लगता है। सो व्हेन द कंडीशंस आर फेवरेबल दे विल सी। ये लंबा एक सिंगल हाइफे था, देखो ये ऐसा एक लंबा सिंगल हाइफे था, वो छोटे 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 पीसेस में टूट गया, बट वो फ्रैगमेंट्स में नहीं टूटा है, इंडिविजुअल सेप्टम से वो सेपरेट हुआ है। तो ये देखो ये एक इंडिविजुअल सेप्टम है, तो ये सेप्टम से ये डिवाइड होके अभी ऐसा बनेगा। ओके, so these type of cells which separate from the septum would be called as oidia. वेल अब ये एक सिंगल ओइडिया जो है ना वो जर्मिनेट होगा और लंबा थ्रेड बनाएगा। तो ऐसे एक थ्रेड से 1 2 3 4 5 कितने सारे थ्रेड्स बनेंगे। ना इसमें माइटोसिस हो रहा है ना इसमें मियोसिस हो रहा है। देखो इवन दिस ओइडिया और arthrospores as we call them is also a product of what? Vegetative reproduction. Is it fine? तो वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शन 5 टाइप्स हमने देखे, फ्रैगमेंटेशन, फिशन, बडिंग, क्लेमाइडोस्पोर्स, ओइडिया। एनी डिफिकल्टी बेटा? क्लेमाइडोस्पोर्स एंड ओइडिया में कोई डिफिकल्टी है? श्योर? Then we come to asexual reproduction in fungi. Asexual reproduction is accomplished by the means of asexual spores formed by mitosis. So अभी मैंने बोला that whenever we use the word asexual reproduction, it is a product of mitosis. Thus, they are also called as mitospores. Asexual reproduction is of two types: zoospores, which are motile spores; aplanospores, which are non-motile spores. So, asexual reproduction के टाइम पे मोटाइल स्पोर्स भी बन सकते हैं या नॉन मोटाइल स्पोर्स भी बन सकते हैं। तो मोटाइल स्पोर्स को हम कहते हैं जू स्पोर्स एंड नॉन मोटाइल स्पोर्स को हम कहते हैं एप्लानोस्पोर्स। ओके, zoospores again they're going to be of two types, primary and secondary. Aplanospores are also of two types, sporangiospores and conidiospores. Now here you can see the word endogenous. Endo means inside. So sporangiospores are going to be produced inside a sac, inside a cap, inside a bag. Okay, therefore it's called as endospores. While conidiospores are exposed to the surrounding, they are not enclosed inside any cap or bag or sac. Therefore, they are exogenous in origin. So let us see all four of them in detail. See, zoospores. Zoospores are thin-walled, flagellated spores produced inside a sac-like structure called a zoosporangium. So you can see this bag. ये देखो, ये बैग है, तो ये बैग, ये सैक को हम क्या कहते हैं? जूस्पोरेंजियम कहते हैं। और देखो इनमें से कितने सारे जूस्पोर्स बाहर निकल आए हैं और भी निकल आ रहे हैं, राइट? सो दीज आर गोइंग टू बी योर जूस्पोर्स, all of these. They are having flagella, see, therefore they are motile. The flagella, zoospores may be uniflagellate or biflagellate. In the diagram they have shown biflagellate, but in nature they could be uniflagellates as well, having a single flagella also. The flagella occurs anteriorly, laterally, or posteriorly. So the position could be anywhere, huh? Not necessarily always apical. हाँ, यहाँ पर apical दिखाई दिया है. These are apical flagella, but here you can see they are lateral, and sometimes it could be posterior also. The flagella occur anteriorly, laterally, or posteriorly. The biflagellate zoospore is of two types, primary and secondary. So this is going to be your primary, this is going to be your secondary. ये वाला जो डायग्राम है ये प्राइमरी जूस्पोर है, ये सेकेंडरी जूस्पोर है. Just look at the shape. Look at the shape बेटा. प्राइमरी जो होता है ये पेयर शेप होता है जिसको हम कहते हैं सी पायरीफॉर्म. So the primary zoospore is pyriform. Pyriform मतलब the shape is like a fruit pear. पेयर जो मिलता है ना मार्केट में हमें, उसके जैसा इसका शेप है, इसको हम कहते हैं पायरीफॉर्म. एंड दिस इज किडनी शेप ना. सेकेंडरी zoospores are kidney shape जिसको हम कहते हैं reniform. So the primary zoospore is pyriform and has two anteriorly attached and forwardly directed flagella. ये देखो ये एक फ्लैजेला है, ये दूसरा फ्लैजेला है. पॉइंट ऑफ ओरिजिन सेम है ऑन द apical region, terminal region. The secondary zoospore formed by the germination of the primary zoospores is reniform. See, that is kidney shape. It has got two unequal, laterally attached and oppositely directed flagella. तो ये देखो, ये साइड से अटैचमेंट है, एक ऊपर जा रहा है, एक नीचे जा रहा है. Okay, so this is the primary zoospore and the secondary zoospores. Very simple. Second, we come to aplanospores, that is the non-motile spores. First is sporangiospores. Sporangiospores are thin-walled, non-motile, uninucleate or multinucleate spores produced endogenously inside a sporangium. So here you can see this is going to be the sporangium. ये देखो बेटा, है ना? तो ये sac है, ये bag है, और इसके अंदर ये yellow color के spores बने हैं. इसलिए उसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Endogenous. After dispersal and germination, they produce new mycelia. तो जैसे ही ये individual spore disperse होगा ना, वो germinate होगा to form such type of long filaments of fungi. Okay. Second is conidiospores. ये conidiospores है, ये देखो. They are not motile, thick-walled. Sporangiospores are thin-walled. Conidiospores are thick-walled. Asexual spores produce exogenously at the tip of special hyphae called conidiophore in a basipetal succession. So you can see this. This is the conidiophore. इसके ये दो branches निकलते हैं, उसको हम कहते हैं rami. Rami के branches को हम कहते हैं metulae. Metulae के branches को हम कहते हैं phyllides. और ये जो ऊपर गोले दिखाई दे रहे हैं आपको, ये देखो ये वाले. These are actually the conidiospores. Okay. Now these conidiospores जो है ना, are they enclosed any bag? Do they have any covering on their surface? Nothing. So what we call them? They are exogenous. They are arranged in basipetal succession. What do you mean by basipetal succession? The older ones will be at the apex and the younger ones will be at the base. तो ये जो ऊपर वाले हैं ये सबसे ओल्ड है और ये जो नीचे की रो है वो नए हैं. We call them as basipetal succession. Older at the apex, younger at the base. इसका मतलब होता है basipetal. ठीक है. Conidia are dispersed by wind. On falling on suitable substratum, each conidium produces a new mycelium. तो ये spores भी germinate होंगे to form long threads. That is going to be nothing but the mycelium. So zoospores were motile, which were primary and secondary. Aplanospores are non-motile, which is sporangiospore and conidia. Any difficulty in understanding any of these, beta? Endogenous and exogenous का मतलब समझ में आया ये केस में? All of these are asexual, means they are produced by mitosis. There is no two hyphae involved. There is no meiosis taking place. Nothing. Okay, sure, fine. The last one to understand is the sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction is by oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. हाँ, यहाँ पर confusion आपका start हो जाएगा. देखिए बेटा, chlamydospores vegetative था, zoospores primary, zoospores secondary, sporangiospores, conidiospores asexual था, means they were by mitosis. Sexual reproduction में जो spores है उनका नाम है oospore, ascospore and basidiospore. So please don't get confused with these spores के prefixes. Be very sorted out that which is vegetative, which is asexual and which is sexual. Is it okay? Have you all followed this? So let us see oospore, ascospore and basidiospores क्या होते हैं individually. The various spores are produced in distinct structures called as the fruiting bodies. The sexual cycle involves the following three steps. तो चाहे वो oospores हो, चाहे वो एस्कोस्पोर हो, चाहे वो बेसिडियोस्पोर्स हो, तीनों में कुछ चीजें कॉमन है। और वो क्या चीजें कॉमन है वो हम देखते हैं, जिसको हम कहते हैं 3 steps of sexual reproduction. The first step, fusion of protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes is called as plasmogamy. So here you can very well see in this diagram, these are two different cells. Okay, they are undergoing attraction, जिसको हम कहते हैं adhesion. Okay, ये देखो, they are coming closer to each other. There's some attraction between these two cells which is making them to come closer to each other. And once they join together, they mix their protoplasm. इन दोनों सेल का जो प्रोटोप्लाज्म है वो मर्ज हो जाएगा, मिक्स हो जाएगा, जिसको हम कहते हैं प्लाज्मोगैमी. So fusion of protoplasm is called as plasmogamy. Now look at the next diagram. If you can see, these two nuclei are different nuclei. Now these two nuclei also will fuse together. So the fusion of the nucleus will be called as karyogamy. So see, fusion of the two nuclei called as karyogamy. So plasmogamy followed by karyogamy. Now what is the problem? See beta, ये जो karyogamy होने के बाद ये diploid cell बन गया, ये डिटैच हो जाएगा, ये डिटैच हो जाएगा, और ये डिटैच होके ये क्या बनेगा, डिप्लॉयड सेल बनेगा, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, जाइगोट. Now, if you look at the parental cells, this is haploid, this is also haploid. So parents are haploid, and if the offspring becomes diploid, so gadbad na, every offspring should have the same chromosome number as that of the parental cell. So हमारे पेरेंट्स के पास 46 क्रोमोसोम्स है, इसलिए हमारे पास भी 46 होने चाहिए ना. हमारे पास 23 होके नहीं चलेगा, या 92 होके भी नहीं चलेगा, है ना. तो ये प्रॉब्लम हो गई, पेरेंट्स हैप्लॉइड है, जाइगोट डिप्लॉइड हो गया, है ना. तो थर्ड स्टेप क्या होता है बेटा, जैसे ही डिप्लॉइड जाइगोट बन जाता है, इट विल इमीडिएटली अंडरगो meiosis. We have already studied mitosis and meiosis. So by the process of meiosis, what would happen? This 2n diploid cell will get divided into 4 haploid daughter cells. Correct? So this is a common thing that is being observed in all fungi in sexual reproduction. What are the 3 steps of sexual reproduction? Plasmogamy, fusion of protoplasm. Karyogamy, fusion of nuclei. And meiosis would be in the diploid zygote to make it haploid 4 individual cells. Okay, so you understood the steps in sexual reproduction of fungi. Any doubts बच्चा? कोई point नहीं समझा हो तो please पूछ लेना. Any difficulty? Please go ahead. No. Okay. So meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. 4 haploid spores बनेंगे. When a fungus produces sexually, 2 haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. Compatible mating type means of the same species. अगर 2 अलग species of fungi साथ में आते हैं तो उनमें कुछ नहीं होगा बेटा. Same species के fungi के threads एक साथ आने चाहिए. In some fungi, the fusion of 2 haploid cells immediately results into a diploid cell, which is zygote 2n. However, in other fungi like Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, an intervening dikaryon stage, that is n plus n, means 2 nuclei per cell occurs. Such a condition is called as a dikaryon, and the phase is called as dikaryophase or dikaryophase of fungus. ये देखो, यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हो very clearly, my dears. This is your dikaryophase. Means protoplasm का fusion हुआ, but nucleus का fusion तुरंत नहीं होता है. It takes a lot of time for the nucleus to combine together. So plasmogamy is seen, but because it is n plus n condition, means 2 nuclei present together, we call it as dikaryo. Di means 2, Carry-on का मतलब होता है nuclei. So 2 nuclei per cell is going to be called as your dikaryophase. ठीक है? So some fungi may show this dikaryophase also. Later means ये जो dikaryophase है, later on उनमें क्या होता है? The parental nuclei will eventually fuse and the cell becomes diploid. And once it becomes diploid, it is going to undergo meiosis. Okay? The fungi forms fruiting bodies in which reduction division occurs, means meiosis occurs, leading to the formation of haploid spores. So obviously, as I said, every new offspring should resemble the parent, so it will undergo meiosis in special structures called as fruiting bodies. Okay. Then we come to the classification, how the fungi are classified. Very simple. If you have understood mitosis, meiosis, mitospores, meiospores, you will understand this very nicely. The morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation, and fruiting bodies forms the basis for the division of kingdom into various classes. So again, this has been asked very frequently. What are the 3 criteria which are used in the classification of fungi? So the first one kya hai beta? Morphology of mycelium, whether it is cenocytic or whether it is septate type of mycelium. Mode of spore formation. Mode of spore formation का मतलब क्या है? Which type of spore is it making? Okay, कौन से type का spore बना रहा है, उस हिसाब से उसको divide किया गया है. And fruiting bodies, कौन से type के fruiting bodies बना रहा है? Endogenous, exogenous, क्या है? Okay, depending on that, the classification of fungi has been done into several classes. So look at this. Sexual reproduction present, sexual reproduction absent. If the sexual reproduction is absent, okay, some fungi won't show sexual reproduction at all. They will show vegetative methods, they will show asexual methods, but sexual reproduction नहीं दिखाई देता है. ऐसे organisms को हम कहते हैं deuteromycetes. What do we call them as? Deuteromycetes. They are called as fungi imperfecti. Yeah, fungi imperfecta. They are imperfect fungi. They are not capable of reproducing sexually. Okay, तो वो एक अकेला बेचारा बाजू में बैठ गया. कौन? The one which is not capable of sexual reproduction. If the fungi is capable of sexual reproduction, we look at the morphology of the mycelium. How is it? So is it aseptate, that is cenocytic, or is it septate? So if it is aseptate, we call it as oomycota, या oomycetes बोलते हैं हम लोग इसको. And if it is septate, it is called as eumycota. Okay, तो अगर aseptate है, मतलब मल्टी न्यूक्लिएट कंडीशन सीनोसाइटिक है, तो ये लोअर फंगाई है, which are phycomycetes and zygomycetes respectively. Okay, और अगर ये eumycota है, हायर फंगाई है, they are going to be ascomycetes या basidiomycetes. So in totality, we have got 5 classes of fungi: phycomycetes, zygomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes, deuteromycetes. तो ये नीचे जो लिखे हैं ना, ये 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 classes of fungi that we need to focus on. Phycomycetes also is called as oomycetes. It's also called as aquatic fungi या फिर algal fungi. Zygomycetes को हम conjugation fungi कहते हैं. Ascomycetes को हम sac fungi कहते हैं. Basidiomycetes को हम club fungi कहते हैं. Club पता है आपको? वो प्लेइंग कार्ड्स होते हैं ना, प्लेइंग कार्ड्स जिसमें डायमंड होता है, हार्ट होता है ना, तो उसमें क्लब करके आता है, देखो, जो हम उसको किल्वर कहते हैं. किल्वर ऐसे एक फ्लावर के जैसा होता है, 3 फ्लावर्स, ऐसे 3 पेटल का फ्लावर. तो ये इसके स्पोर्स है ना, दे अपीयर लाइक दैट. बेसिडियोमाइसीट्स केस में उसको क्लब फंगाई कहा गया है. एंड ड्यूटेरोमाइसीट और इट्स कॉल्ड एज फंगाई इम्परफेक्टा. Okay, so first is the algal fungi or the phycomycetes. See, this is the plant which is infected by these phycomycetes. ये white color के yellowish type के जो spots दिखाई दे रहे हैं ना इस leaf पे, That is because of the infection by these phycomycetes. Members of phycomycetes are found in aquatic habitat and on decaying wood in moist and damp places as obligate parasites on plants. So they are always going to be parasites on plants. The mycelium is aseptate cenocytic. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores and also by aplanospores. You know what is zoospores and aplanospores now. The spores are endogenously produced in the sporangium. So phycomycetes are going to produce sporangiospores. The common members of algal fungi are albugo, which is the parasitic fungi on mustard. So that white spot that I was talking about ना, ये देखो ये mustard leaf है और ये white color के ऐसे spots उसके ऊपर दिखाई देते हैं. तो immediately हम समझ लेते हैं कि भाई इसको phycomycetes का infection हुआ है, that is albugo का infection हुआ है, right? And also Phytophthora. So that's what I said. Phytophthora palmivora करके जो है वो भी generally ऐसा infection white fungi का करता है. Fine, easy. Phycomycetes, simple. क्या क्या points याद रखने हैं? Aquatic है, they are aquatic. Dead decaying matter पे grow कर रहे हैं. Aseptate and cenocytic है. Zoospores and sporangiospores से asexual reproduction करते हैं. And common members are albugo and Phytophthora. Okay. The next is conjugation fungi, also called as zygomycetes. अब इसमें थोड़ा ना हटके phenomena है. Zygomycetes ना actually they are considered as phycomycetes only, but इनमें थोड़ा सा एक हटके phenomena है, इसलिए उसको ना कुछ books अलग से represent करते हैं. So what does it see? The mycelium is cenocytic, multinucleate, aseptate, like the one found in phycomycetes. बिल्कुल same है दोनों में. Sexual reproduction produces a resting diploid spore called as zygospore, means plasmogamy followed by karyogamy. Karyogamy भी हो जाएगा. Karyogamy हुआ मतलब zygote बना बेटा, है ना? अब ये बहुत सारे zygotes बनेंगे क्योंकि multinucleate condition है. So there would be so many zygotes formed, but all these zygotes will remain as it is. They won't immediately undergo meiosis. What was the 3 steps? Plasmogamy, followed by karyogamy, followed by meiosis. But zygomycetes में plasmogamy followed by karyogamy, it will be delayed meiosis. मतलब क्या हुआ? What do you mean by the word delayed meiosis? Meiosis तुरंत नहीं होगा. It will take, sometimes it takes hundreds of years for meiosis to take place. So this is a hatke phenomenon seen in zygomycetes. So see, sexual reproduction produces a resting diploid spore. Resting means the one which will immediately not enter the next phase, that is meiosis. Okay, called as zygospore. So here you can see these are the 2 cells which are coming together and they have fused to form this zygospore. Now this zygospore will remain as it is for hundreds of years if the conditions are not favorable. Okay. The zygospore is formed by fusion of 2 gametes. So here you can see these 2 cells are nothing but 2 gametes. See, right? The gametes are similar in morphology or they may be dissimilar in morphology. Some common examples are mucor, rhizopus, which are nothing but the bread molds, and the parasitic fungi on mustard may also show such type of zygospore formation. So look, now this zygospore will remain for years together, and then when the conditions will become favorable, this zygospore will germinate to form haploid spores, and then these spores will be liberated to develop into new fungal hyphae. Okay, ये तो अपना sporangiosspore ही है. Structure of rhizopus है ये देखो. Here you can see how the spores are dispersed. So zygomycetes and phycomycetes are technically the same. The only thing is the group of phycomycetes which will make this resting spore would be called as zygomycetes. That's it. Otherwise, in your NCERT, though, mucor, rhizopus, albugo, everything has been defined under phycomycetes only. But if a question comes on zygomycetes, you should not be lost. ठीक है. The third is ascomycetes. So ascomycetes are mostly multicellular. Example क्या है देखो, penicillium, और rarely unicellular, that is yeast, which is Saccharomyces. They are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic, coprophilous. Coprophilous means growing on dung. Okay, sometimes these ascomycetes are lavishly growing on dung. Mycelium is branched, it's septate. ये तो सारे common points है अभी. Asexual spores are Coneria. Coneria are exogenous, है ना? So asexual spores are Coneria, produced exogenously on the special mycelium called as conidiophore. Just now we saw that. Coneria on germination produces mycelium, that also we saw. But sexual spores कैसे बनते हैं देखो बेटा. Sexual spores are called as ascospores, which are produced endogenously in a sac called as asci, और singular we call it as ascus. अब यहाँ पर आप लोग कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं, तो बिल्कुल कंफ्यूज नहीं होना. एस्कोमाइसीट्स के एसेक्सुअल स्पोर्स एक्सोजीनस है, लेकिन सेक्सुअल स्पोर्स एंडोजीनस है. ठीक है. कोनिडियोस्पोर्स एक्सोजीनस है, एस्कोस्पोर्स एंडोजीनस है. ये देखो, सो दिस इज द एस्काई. ये देखो, ये ब्लू कलर का बाहर का कवरिंग आपको दिखाई दे रहा है बेटा. कैन यू सी दिस ब्लू कलर का कवरिंग आउटसाइड, ये वाला व्हाइटिश. दिस इज वन एस्काई, वन एस्कस. एंड इन वन एस्कस ये जो ब्राउन गोल्डन कलर के या ब्लैकिश ब्राउनिश कलर के जो आपको ये दिखाई दे रहे हैं ना, these are the ascospores. So they are saying asci, each with 8 ascospores. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, पीछे है 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. है ना? So the asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies called as ascocarp. तो ये जो दोनों मर्ज हो जाते हैं, ये एक एस्कस और ये दूसरा एस्कस, they merge together ना, we call them as ascocarp. Fine. Some examples are aspergillus, claviceps, neurospora. They all are going to be your ascomycetes. Neurospora is used extensively in biochemical and genetic work. Many members like morels and truffles are edible and are considered delicacies. So हम बहुत सारे ascomycetes को खाते हैं. इंडिया में morels and truffles इतने फेमस नहीं है, नहीं मिलते हैं अपने इधर. But if you go abroad ना, तो वहाँ पर especially US में, लंदन में, मतलब यूके में, ये morels and truffles के लिए बहुत पैसे देने पड़ते हैं. They are very costly. They are very costly, but they are very delicious. Okay. So what do you mean by ascomycetes? समझा? They are called as sac fungi because this ascus के अंदर, ये ascus को हम कहते हैं sac, और इसके अंदर ये spores बने हैं, sexual spores. हाँ. So these are going to be called as your ascospores. And when the 2 asci, 3 asci, 100 asci, 1000 asci, when they come together, we call them as ascocarp, and we eat these ascocarps. Is it okay? Is there any difficulty, any confusion in your mind, my dears, for ascomycetes? किसी को है difficulty तो please पूछ लेना. Clear है? Good. Look at the basidiomycetes, the club fungi. Commonly known forms of basidiomycetes are mushrooms, bracket fungi, or puffballs. They grow in soil, on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites, for example, rusts and smuts. The mycelium is branched and septate. You can see ये एक mycelium है, देखो कितनी branched है, और ये septate है बेटा. They have got septa in between. The asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction is going to be seen by fragmentation, which is very common in basidiomycetes. Okay. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. So दो हाइफे एक साथ आएंगे, मर्ज करेंगे, और वो सेल्स जहां जहां मर्ज होते हैं ना, वहां वहां प्लाज्मोगैमी दिखाई देती है. Right? The resultant structure is dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to bacterium. मतलब क्या हो जाएगा? The two cells after plasmogamy मैंने दिखाया था, जो दो सेल्स है ना, जिसमें दो न्यूक्लियाई क्लियरली दिखाई दे रही थी, उसको अब हम कहेंगे बेसिडियम. So this diagram if you see, ये डायग्राम जो है ना बेटा, इसको अब हम क्या कहेंगे? बेसिडियम कहेंगे, जिसमें प्लाज्मोगैमी तो हो चुकी है, लेकिन डाइकैरियन स्टेज है. There are two nuclei seen, they have not yet fused. So this particular structure of basidiomycetes will be called as basidium. Understood what is a basidium? So it will be called as basidium. Okay. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in the basidium, producing 4 basidiospores. So ultimately what will happen? The two nuclei will fuse together. So karyogamy will occur, and on fusion they will undergo meiosis, and they'll produce 4 haploid spores, which will be called as basidiospores. Here you can see, ये basidium है बेटा, ये वाला नीचे का, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see 4 basidiospores being formed? Look over here also, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. इसके ऊपर अभी तक आया नहीं है. That means it is a dikaryon. अभी भी इसके न्यूक्लियाई फ्यूज नहीं हुए हैं. Once the nuclei fuses, it will undergo meiosis again to produce something like this way. Okay. Now, are these spores, are these basidiospores enclosed in a sac-like ascospores? Definitely not. So, what are basidiospores, beta? Exogenous, right? The basidiospores are exogenously produced onto the basidium. The basidia are arranged in fruiting bodies called as basidiocarps. So, अभी आपने देखे कि ascocarp का aggregation was ascospore, asci का aggregation was ascocarp. वैसे यहाँ पर basidia का aggregation will be called as basidiocarps. We eat basidiocarps, that means we eat mushrooms. So mushrooms are nothing, but mushrooms are basidiocarps. Okay. Some common members are agaricus, that is mushroom, Pustilago, which is a smut, and Puccinia, which is a rust. So please don't forget these names. Agaricus is the one that we eat. Mushrooms हमें जो market में मिलते हैं वो. Pustilago is a smut, and Puccinia is a rust. So smuts and rusts, ये infections है. These are infectious fungi. But agaricus जो अपना है वो हम खा सकते हैं. Got this? Got the basidiomycetes as well? Good. Deuteromycetes, the fungi imperfectly. Commonly known as imperfect fungi because only asexual or vegetative phases of these fungi are known to exist. There is no sexual reproduction. When the sexual forms of these fungi were discovered, they were moved in the classes they rightly belong to. तो अगर इनमें किसी में sexual reproduction दिखाई देगा, so they will check whether it is ascomycetes के जैसा sexual reproduction या basidiomycetes के जैसा. ठीक है? It is also possible that the asexual and vegetative stages have been given one name and placed under deuteromycetes, and the sexual stage another and placed under ascoya basidio. Later, when the linkages were established, the fungi were correctly identified and moved out of deuteromycetes. So, जैसे हमें linkages समझ में आ गए, मतलब क्या? Chromosomal structures समझ में आ गए, तो हमें समझा भाई ये deuteromycete by mistake हमने इधर डाला है. It has got the chromosome structure exactly similar to asco. Then उसको निकालकर asco में डाला गया, and so on. The sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by fusion of two vegetative or somatic cells of different strains or genotypes. The resultant structure is called as dikaryotic, which ultimately gives rise to one perfect stage of members of deuteromycetes were discovered. They were often moved to ascomycetes or bacillomycetes. So that's what I'm saying. अगर बैसिडियोमाइसीट्स के जैसा सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन दिखाई दिया, उसको निकालकर बैसिडियोमाइसीट में डाला. जब तक हमें पता नहीं है कि ये सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन कौन से टाइप का कर पाता है, तब तक हम उसको ड्यूटेरो में रखते हैं. देन वी सेपरेट देम, राइट. The deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, which is by conidiospores. Mycelium is separate and branched. Some members are saprophytes, some are parasites, while many of them are decomposers of litter and help in mineral recycling. Some examples are Alternaria, Coletotrichum, Trichoderma, Fusarium. These all are the examples of deuteromycetes. Alternaria, Coletotrichum पता है आपको किधर दिखाई देता है बेटा? गन्ना जूस पीते हो आप लोग, शुगर केन जूस. तो वो शुगर केन जब आप देखोगे ना, तो कभी कभी शुगर केन के ऊपर रेड कलर के ऐसे स्पॉट्स होते हैं बीच बीच में. दैट इज द इन्फेक्शन ऑफ कोलेटोट्रिकम. कोलेटोट्रिकम विल ऑलवेज इन्फेक्ट शुगर केन टू फॉर्म रेड रॉट्स. रेड कलर का ऐसा एक रॉटिंग एरिया हो जाता है. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम गन्ना जूस वाले के पास जाओगे और अगर ऐसे रेड कलर के स्पॉट्स वाला वो गन्ना अगर यूज कर रहा है जूस कर निकालने के लिए, तो उसको तुरंत बोल देना डोंट यूज दिस, दिस इज इन्फेक्टेड विद कोलेटोट्रिकम. हालांकि उसको कोलेटोट्रिकम तो नहीं समझेगा, बट इतना समझेगा कि वो खराब है, ये हमें पता चल गया है. ओके, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रेड रॉट ऑफ sugarcane caused by कोलेटोट्रिकम. ट्राइकोडर्मा, डैंड्रफ. जो अपना डैंड्रफ होता है ना, दैट इज अ ट्राइकोडर्मा. ठीक है. Any difficulty in this? Any problem? No. That's why I said fungus is easy. Only the thing is you have to pay very good attention to whatever is being said. That completes your fungi also. And as I say, plant and animalia जो है ना, ये अलग chapters ही है, तो इसमें ज्यादा टेंशन ना लो. ठीक है, वो अलग चैप्टर है, मैं अलग से आपको पढ़ाऊंगी. Kingdom plant includes all eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms, commonly called as plants. A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as the insectivorous plants or parasites. Some are, but they are not parasitic for food. Please understand. Please understand. जो insectivorous plants होते हैं ना, they are going to be parasites for nitrogen deficiency. They are not going to be having any problem with making of their own food. They are green in color. All insectivorous plants are green in color. They don't depend on the insect for their feeding habits. It's only for the nitrogen. Okay. Bladderwort and Venus flytrap plants are examples of insectivorous plants. And Cuscuta is a parasite. Cuscuta is Amarved. It's a complete parasitic plant. The plant cells have eukaryotic structure with prominent chloroplast and cell wall made up of cellulose. This we have seen in cell unit. Plants include algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. In detail, we are going to talk about this in the chapter of kingdom plant. Life cycle of plants has two distinct phases: diploid sporophytic phase and haploid gametophytic phase that alternates with each other. Diploid means having two sets of chromosomes, okay, which are going to make spores. And haploid means gametophytic generation, which are going to produce gametes. तो एक generation gametes बनाएगा, gametes fuse हो जाएंगे, फिर sporophytic generation start होगा. So it's going to be alternating each other. The length of the haploid and the diploid phases and whether these phases are free living or dependent on others vary among different groups of plants. So how are they? We'll be talking about in detail in the chapter. The phenomenon is called as alternation of generation. So one generation is sporophyte, followed by gametophyte, followed by sporophyte, followed by gametophyte, and so on. Okay. Kingdom Animalia. This kingdom is characterized by heterophilic eukaryotic organisms that are multicellular and their cell lacks cell wall. Animals में cell wall कहाँ होता है? They directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. They digest their food in internal cavity and store food reserves as glycogen or fat. We all also do the same. Their mode of nutrition is holozoic, that is by ingestion, digestion, and egation, as I explained yesterday. They follow a definite growth pattern and grow into adults that have a definite shape and size. Okay. Higher forms show elaborate sensory and neuromotor mechanisms. So we all are showing sensory mechanism and neuromotor mechanisms. Most of them are capable of locomotion. Thank God we can locomote. The sexual reproduction is by copulation of male and female, followed by embryological development. So we have already seen in human reproduction chapter how the gametogenesis have occurred in the male and how gametogenesis has occurred in the female. And tomorrow we are going to go ahead with the embryo formation and what happens with the embryo. So that is called as embryological development. Okay. Virus, very famous nowadays. Virus का नाम लेते ही tension आता है. But let us see what are viruses. In the 5 kingdom classification of Whitaker, there is no mention of lichens and some acellular organisms like virus, virions, and prions. Viruses did not find a place in classification since they are not considered fully living. If you understand living as those organisms that have a cell structure, so virus does not have a cell structure because virus does not have a cytoplasm. It does not have a nucleus. It does not have cell organelle. It has got nothing. It only is made up of 2 things. Protein from outside, है ना, वो जो बॉक्स बनाता है अपने बॉडी का उसको प्रोटीनेशियस कवरिंग कहते हैं, एंड इनसाइड देयर इज गोइंग टू बी न्यूक्लिक एसिड. बाकी कुछ नहीं है उसमें, साइटोप्लाज्म वगैरह कुछ नहीं है वायरस में. सो इट्स एक्चुअली कंसिडर्ड नॉट फुल्ली लिविंग, राइट? सी, the virus are non-cellular organisms that are characterized by having an inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. Once they infect the cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell to replicate themselves, killing the host. So host को मार देते हैं और host की machinery use करते हैं खुद के particles बनाने के लिए. देखो कितने smart है, right? The electron microscopic study of virus reveals the fact that crystals of viruses are composed of numerous individual complex units referred to as virions. Virions are the basic structural unit of virus that is capable of infecting a specific host. तो छोटे छोटे वायरस के जो पार्टिकल्स नए डेवलप हो रहे हैं ना होस्ट सेल के अंदर, उसको हम कहते हैं विरियन. और हर एक विरियन नए होस्ट सेल को इन्फेक्ट करने के लिए तैयार होता है. The name virus, that means venom. Venom means poison, or poisonous fluid, was given by Pasteur. D.J. Ivanovsky recognized certain microbes as causal organisms of mosaic disease of tobacco. They were found to be smaller than bacteria because they could pass through bacteria-proof filters. तो बैक्टीरिया जहां से क्रॉस नहीं कर पाएगा ऐसे फिल्टर्स लगाए गए हैं, लेकिन वायरस उसके थ्रू भी पास हो सकता है. मतलब वो बैक्टीरिया से भी छोटा है, ये कंफर्म हो जाता है. M.W. Behring demonstrated that the extract of the infected plants of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants and called the fluid as contagium vivum fluidum. So he said that viruses are contagious. अगर मैंने infected plant में से जूस निकाला और वो अगर मैंने healthy plant में inject किया तो healthy plant को भी infection हो जाता है. So he's saying it is contagious. So it is called as contagium vivum fluidum. Infectious living fluid है ये. That was called by Behring. Remember all these names. ये आता है. W.M. Stanley showed that viruses could be crystallized and crystals consist largely of proteins. So Stanley ने बोला कि अरे ये सेल नहीं है, सेल होता तो क्रिस्टलाइज नहीं हो जाता था, लिसिस होता था, सेल फूट जाता था, ब्रेक होता था, ये क्रिस्टल्स बनते हैं. तो किसके क्रिस्टल्स है करके देखा तो देखो प्रोटीन क्रिस्टल्स. ओके, They are inert outside their specific host cell. Viruses are obligate parasites. Obligate means compulsory. उनका break the chain चल रहा है ना. That means what? Don't give a host to the virus and it will automatically get, cured of. What is the chemical structure and composition? In addition to proteins, virus also contains genetic material that could be either RNA or DNA. No virus contains both RNA and DNA. A virus is a nucleoprotein and the genetic material is infectious. In general, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, and viruses that infect animals have either single-stranded DNA or double-stranded DNA, or single-stranded RNA or double-stranded RNA. तो animal viruses में सारे अलग अलग टाइप के ये होते हैं बेटा, compositions होते हैं. हाँ, yeah. The protein crystals can also be called as virions. Yes, my dear, you're perfectly right. Perfectly right. Bacterial viruses or bacteriophages. Bacteriophage का मतलब क्या है? The virus which infects the bacteria will be called as bacteriophage. The viruses that infect the bacteria are usually double-stranded DNA virus. The protein coat is called as capsid, which is made up of smaller subunits called as capsomeres. Protects the nucleic acid inside. Okay. Look at this particular one. It will be very simple to you to understand this. See, ये जो छोटे छोटे येलो कलर के पीसेस सिंगल दिखाई दे रहे हैं, these will be called as capsomeres, and all these capsomeres together will make up a capsid. And look at this is single stranded RNA. ये दिखाई दे रहा है आपको गोले गोले रेड कलर के. This is the single stranded RNA which is protected inside this capsomere. जैसे पेन की निब होती है ना, पेन में रिफिल डालते हो आप, तो रिफिल के ऊपर क्या होता है? वो प्लास्टिक का पेन होता है, उसके ऊपर ढक्कन है ना. तो ये डायग्राम में ना हमने वो ढक्कन निकाल दिया है, तो वो जो निब है वो दिखाई दे रही है हमें. Fine. So this is going to be your typical virus, that is tobacco mosaic virus, TMV. These capsomeres are arranged in helical or polyhedral geometric forms. Virus can cause diseases like mumps, smallpox, herpes, influenza. AIDS in humans is also caused by virus, HIV virus. In plants, the symptoms can be mosaic formation. Mosaic means ऐसा कोई डिफाइंड डिजाइन नहीं है, haphazard डिजाइन है उनका. लीफ रोलिंग, लीफ कर्लिंग, येलोइंग एंड वेन क्लियरिंग, dwarfing, stunted growth. These are the viral infections से प्लांट में क्या क्या होता है. And this is a bacteriophage बेटा. 1 2 3 4 5 6 tail fibers आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं. These are called as tail fibers. This is the head. This is the collar over here, chotu sa, and this is the sheath, and this is the tail plate. So this is the typical structure of bacteriophage. Okay. Then to wind up this particular discussion, virioids and prions and lichens तीन ही subtopics है. 5 minutes में हो जाएगा. इसके साथ ये chapter भी complete हो जाएगा. We will complete with this biological classification within 5 minutes. Okay, just give me 5 more minutes. Virioids. 1971, Diner discovered new infectious agent that was smaller than virus and caused potato spindle tuber disease, also abbreviated as PSTD. तो potato में spindle tuber disease बनाने वाला virioid है, ना कि virus. What is the difference between virioid and virus? See, don't get confused between virion and virioid. Virion are the small units or crystals of virus. Virioid is something different. What is it? See, it is found to be free RNA. It does not have a protein coat that is found in viruses, and hence the name is virioid. So it's not going to have virus. It is only going to be what? ये देखो, ये जो है ना, ये वाला rod type virioid structure, branched virioid structure. मतलब ये सिर्फ single stranded RNA है, nothing else. उसके ऊपर कवरिंग नहीं है प्रोटीन का. So प्रोटीन कवरिंग नहीं है, सिर्फ न्यूक्लिक एसिड है. ऐसे वाले ऑर्गेनिज्म को हम कहते हैं वीरियोइड. ओके, द आरएनए ऑफ द वीरियोइड वाज ऑफ लो मॉलिक्यूलर वेट. ठीक है, पीएसटीडी कॉज करता है एक ही. ऑन द अदर हैंड लुक एट प्रियॉन. Prions in modern medicine, certain infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisted of abnormally folded protein. अब प्रियन में और वीरियोइड में क्या डिफरेंस है बेटा? तो प्रियन में सिर्फ प्रोटीन है, न्यूक्लिक एसिड नहीं है. ओके, तो वायरस में न्यूक्लिक एसिड भी है और प्रोटीन भी है. वीरियोइड में सिर्फ न्यूक्लिक एसिड है, प्रोटीन नहीं है. और प्रेयन में सिर्फ प्रोटीन है, न्यूक्लिक एसिड नहीं है. ओके, सो दे आर ओनली प्रोटीन्स व्हिच आर इन्फेक्शियस. देखो, proteins are going to cause neurological infection. Neurological is, huh? The agent was smaller in size to virus. The most notable diseases caused by prions are bovine spongiform encephalopathy, BSE, commonly called as the mad cow disease. Mad cow, the cow actually becomes mad. Actually mad होता है वो cow. ये देखो, ये सिर्फ प्रोटीन स्ट्रक्चर है. ये देखो, ये ब्लू, येलो, ब्लू, ग्रीन, ऑरेंज, ये दिखाई दे रहा है. इट्स ओनली प्रोटीन. It's not having any nucleic acid and yet it is infectious. It's going to cause madness in cow. And its analogous variant called as Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease or CR Jakob disease called as CJD in humans. So even humans become, you know, maniac because of this prionic attack. There is a case in Chandigarh. There is a person in Chandigarh who is having this prionic attack. और उसमें क्या करते हैं बंदे, पता है आपको? अपने आप को है ना छील लेते हैं. They scratch themselves. और स्क्रैचिंग उनको हाथ से करने पर उनको तसल्ली नहीं होती. वो इतने पगला जाते हैं ना. They actually become so much violent. Then they take knife. They take whatever is there and they start peeling them. They start, you know, पोटैटो को कैसे पील करते हैं ना, वैसे पूरे बॉडी को वो पील करने लगते हैं. It's so dangerous. See, so that is called as your Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. तो ये लोगों को ना कोई मेडिसिन नहीं है. We are making them to sleep. उनको सुलाते रहना, इंजेक्शन दे दे के उनको बस सुलाते रहना. Otherwise they'll start scraping themselves. Okay. As I said, to end, we have got lichens. I told you in the beginning only that lichens end में है. So just quickly, let me go through the lichens. Lichens are symbiotic associations, mutual useful associations between algae and fungi. The algal component is known as phycobion and the fungal component is known as mycobion, which are autotrophic and heterotrophic respectively. So algae is autotrophic and fungi is heterotrophic. Algae prepare food for fungi and fungi provide shelter and absorb mineral nutrients and water for its algal partner. So both are benefited, as I say. So close is their association that if one saw a lichen in nature, one would never imagine that they had two different organisms within them. एक जैसे एक ही organism बन के रहते हैं. Lichens are very good pollution indicators. They do not grow in polluted areas. Lichens are indicators of SO2 pollution. They never grow in areas with SO2 pollution. आपने भी लाइकेन देखा है, पक्का मुझे पता है. आपने स्टार अनाइज देखा है, जो पुलाव में डालते हैं, स्टार शेप का एक ऐसा वुडी, एक फ्लावर के जैसा रहता है, वुडी होता है. उसका एक टिपिकल अरोमा होता है जिसके वजह से घर में पुलाव बन रहा है, ये समझ में आता है. दैट इज अ लाइकेन. Star anise is a lichen. So we use star anise as a flavoring agent in Indian culinaries. Okay. Well, so these are the things which are associated with biological classification. And with this, we complete the chapter of biological classification as well. So as I had promised you all that I'll be, surely completing the backlog. So I guess I've completed the backlog with you all. I have cleared the 3 chapters which were to be taught to you all, that was living world, cell unit of life, and biological classification. And now you all are not latecomers. Now you all are at par with the other students. Your gap has been sealed, and these Monday lectures will now not be there because we have completed the gap. We have sealed the gap. So now from this week onwards, that's Wednesday and Friday onwards, as you used to come for your regular lectures, from next week onwards, will only be coming for the regular lectures. The backlog is done. Okay, fine. Chalo, my dears. Thank you so much. And see you all tomorrow with the third part of human reproduction chapter. That's going to be embryological development and fertilization. Okay. Yeah, beta. Bye. See you all. Thank you.